I think if you want to protect your peace, you have to stop giving advice. Now I know I'm advising you to stop giving advice, which is still advice, but this is for the greater good. This is for your peace of mind. That I'm directly contradicting myself. When I was 15, I was extremely shy. I'm gonna put quotation marks around shy because I wasn't shy, I just had an irrational fear of looking stupid. I always wanted to be the exact opposite of cringe and uncool, and so in order for me to do that, I had to not interact with anyone. That was my coping mechanism. I didn't interact. I tried to make myself as small as possible in very noticeable ways. As in, it was noticed by the bullies, which then caused me to be bullied more, so it didn't really work. But okay, again, the point is, when I was 15, there was no amount of advice that someone could give me that would stop that behavior. There was absolutely nothing that anyone could have said that would have overnight caused me to be a confident person, or would have caused me to stand up straight and be social and love myself, all the things. There was nothing that anyone could have said. And there were a lot of attempts. There were a lot of people in my life who wanted to see me do good, and they wanted to see me be confident, and so they would say, like, you should stand up straight, or Cheria, you should try speaking more, or you should do this, or you should do that, you should do this. It was in one ear and out the other. Now, the reason I'm telling you this is because I put myself into 15-year-old me's shoes, and I thought about it. And I thought about me as an adult trying to give people advice and feeling disheartened when they don't listen, when they haven't listened, when they just kind of seem like they don't believe me. And I put myself into my younger shoes, and that's when I realized that no amount of advice that someone would have given me would have been applicable for me, because I wasn't changed enough to listen. I wasn't ready. And when you think about it like that, it's kind of freeing, you know? Because you want to see other people do good. You want to see them succeed. You know, if you're a good person, you want to. But not everyone is at the point where they're ready to listen to your advice. So no, they won't take it, because they have to discover, they have to believe it for themselves. Until they believe it, there's no amount of advice that you could give that anyone would listen to. They either have to believe the advice or believe you, the person who's giving it, which that's another thing. There was a point in my life where, again, I wasn't confident, I was insecure, I was not able to listen to anyone's suggestions or anyone's advice about how to get out of that. And whenever there was someone who was those things that I wanted to be, and they showed me any sort of kindness and tried to then give me advice on how to be more like that, my thought would always be that they're just a different sort of person for me. I didn't believe that anyone who had actually gone through my sort of anxiety struggles and my socializing struggles, I didn't believe that they could come out being a confident person. So whenever I saw someone who was that sort of person and they were trying to convince me that I could be like that too, I just didn't believe that we had gone through the same things. I didn't believe we went through the same struggles. I didn't believe that they could relate to me. I thought that everything that I was going through was harder than what anyone else has ever gone through. That my struggles were fundamentally different from their struggles. But now that I'm over the insecurities, maybe being over it isn't the best word. Now that I can cope better. Now that I know that when I walk into a room, the world's not gonna end. When I talk to someone, if I sound stupid, it's not the end of the world. Now that I know these things, that means I'm now in the position to give confidence and give advice. And I want to, because I want to help people. That's the only reason people want to help others, because you've gone through things and you know that there are certain struggles that can be overcome. So now me being in the position where I can offer advice, I want to. And it's frustrating because I feel like people don't believe me. And people don't believe me because they see me and they put me in a category. And I think the category that a lot of non-advice takers put people in is blind optimist. We've all come across someone who we could deem blindly optimistic. A person who it seems like nothing bad ever happens to them. They've never had to struggle. They're beautiful, they're handsome, they're attractive, they're tall, they're short, whatever. Whatever you deem to be like the beauty standard. And they seem like everything in life always goes right. Whatever they try, they're able to do good at it, they're able to accomplish it. If it's raining outside and everyone else is upset about the rain, they're like, well, at least the flowers are gonna grow now. And you're like, how are you so positive all the time? To the point where you kind of just, you brush them off because you're like, okay, there's a saying that goes, ignorance is bliss, and you see that person as ignorant because they're so blissful. So you don't listen to them. And I feel like a lot of people put advice givers into that category. For whatever reason, however they present themselves somehow translates to that in that person's mind. And I'm only realizing this now, and I'm only realizing that this was also something that I did because I have overcome. I've overcome my obstacles and my hurdles, and now I'm on the other side of being the advice giver, and people don't listen to me. And it's frustrating because I'm trying to figure out why. Why? If I say to you, if you look at all of my paintings and you say, wow, you're so good, I wish I could do that. And I say, you can. Most people just don't try. And then I continue by saying, I was never a good painter, I literally taught myself. And you reply, well, you're probably a good drawer. And then I say, yeah, but painting is a different skill. And even drawing, I didn't start off good, it still took time and practice. And they're like, yeah, well, you're just good at it. I can't do that. And again, you want to see people succeed. I believe that art is an outlet that everyone should try if you're interested in art. You have to be honest with yourself first though, are you interested in art actually, or is it just the aesthetic of being an artist that you're interested in? Once you make that distinction, and then you're actually seeking advice from people, it gets frustrating when I, as the advice giver now, am telling people what they should do in order to progress in the way that they say that they want to, and they don't listen to me. It makes me feel like, well, I'll just stop talking. Why do I even bother? Because they're not gonna listen. Until I realize that if someone can't see the struggles that you've been through, they're gonna put you into the blind optimist category, and they're going to ignore whatever you say. And then this is where the stop giving advice comes in. Because once you realize that you're in that blind optimist category, right? No one's gonna listen to you because they can't see your struggles. You then try to prove yourself. Again, you're the advice giver. You're now trying to prove yourself and prove why you are worthy of giving advice, why you should be listened to. You're expending a lot of energy now at this point. Not only are you expending a lot of energy, but now you're thinking about it outside of that interaction. You're thinking about it for days. You're now trying to convince people why they should listen to you. You're suddenly not making art anymore because you're so busy trying to figure out why people won't listen to your advice. You're feeling bad because you're trying to prove people wrong now when all you were trying to do was help. And when I put myself into 15-year-old me's shoes, and I really thought about it, that's when I understood that change doesn't happen because someone told you to. Change happens from in here, up here. And it happens because you've been pushed to your breaking point and now you're forced to do something. Sometimes. I won't say that everyone is like this. I know I was this type of person. That's how I was. So I just kind of assume a lot of people are like me. Because there are a lot of people who have dreams and they want to do things and people give them advice on what to do and then they don't take it and they don't progress and you're left feeling just kind of dumbfounded because it's like, I'm giving you the playbook, but you don't believe me, and that's hurtful. And so I've decided that if you are a person in a position to give someone advice, really think about where they're at. Really think about if they're worthy of expending your energy, worthy of you worthy of you convincing them. Because sometimes people need to be convinced, just strongly. Just saying it isn't enough. They have to be persuaded and convinced. And that's a lot of energy to give someone else. And that's taking away from your art. That's taking time away. That's taking mind space away from your craft that you're actually doing because you believed in yourself. Because you believed in yourself and you're doing it. So, if you are a person who is seeking advice on how to become an artist and you have chosen to believe me, here's how you do it. You find an image that you like online or in real life, just something that you like to look at, something that you would like to see on your walls. Walmart has canvases and they have paints that are of just good enough quality, And this is for acrylic painting, I guess I could give advice for watercolors and oil painting. I just don't do those because they require a different skill set. This is for acrylic painting. You want to buy red, blue, white, black, yellow. Buy those colors. Those are the primaries. And again, I'm not here to argue, whatever, those are primaries. Buy those colors. Whatever you've chosen as something that you would like to see on your wall, it doesn't have to be complicated, but even if it is, whatever, that's fine, that's up to you. Try to draw that thing. Draw it on the canvas, use a sketch paper first, whatever you have to do. Just draw something that you like. It could be an anime, it could be a tree, it could be anything, just draw it. And then I want you to look up a YouTube tutorial on how to mix colors. From the colors that you have, red, yellow, blue, white, black, you can create a very wide spectrum of colors. You can create all of the skin colors. They might not be a perfect match, but you can. You can paint someone who's dark skin to light skin, those colors. And most things in nature, you can paint also from those colors. So now if you're doing an anime and it has some wild colors to it, you might want to buy those colors specifically just to help you out. So once you have looked up that tutorial, try it. Try mixing the colors, see how they mix. If you're doing a portrait, start by trying to mix the colors that would create the shadows on the face, right? If you look at my face, I'm not sure if you can even see any shadows. I'm just kind of assuming where they're at. maybe there's a shadow under my eye, but my cheek is lighter. Try painting the shadow color and then do the lighter color under the cheek. Doesn't matter what kind of brushes you have, you're just experimenting. You have to experiment in order to get good. That's the advice that I'm giving if you want to be an artist. Everything that you create doesn't have to be a masterpiece. If you're just starting, it will take time. That's just the truth. Like, there's no getting around the time that you have to put in order to be good at what you want. You might discover that you do have some natural talent. You're just you just have a sort of inclination towards being good at something, certain thing. That's fine. You still have to hone in your skill and practice. It took me 4 years to feel comfortable enough with my artwork to consider myself an artist. So it's not gonna happen for anyone overnight. It's not gonna happen just because you want it. You have to do it. You have to be consistent. I would sit for 8 hours every single day at my mom's kitchen table painting just specific subjects. I have some over here actually. But they started in a sketchbook with aluminum foil as my palette. There is a tree in my backyard that birds would sit on. That's what I painted first. Let's see what else. I saw a YouTube tutorial for painting these magical looking clouds. Thought it was pretty, that's why I painted it. That was my motivation. Didn't have to be anything more than that. A drawing of the Lion King. More clouds. This was a great exercise for me. Car, I don't want to talk about that. Another YouTube tutorial that I saw. I just practiced painting it. This girl, which, I mean, this is very different from how I paint people now, obviously, because I practiced. This was a good YouTube tutorial for me. Practicing drawing this guy with all of his different shadows. This was an abstract piece. More drawing. A tree woman. And then I'll go to my paintings, or canvas paintings. So after painting those clouds from that YouTube tutorial, I found an image of palm trees that I liked, so I tried painting that. And this is typically what I was painting like when I first started. Women with afros with like flowers in their hair. Again, just images that I saw online. This was 3 different images that I put together. So the woman, she didn't have the flowers in her hair. I added that for myself. I looked up a picture of a lion. I just kind of looked up a sunset, and I just put it all together myself like a collage. But these are the things that I did to then get to where I'm at now. And the crazy thing is, from those first paintings that I did, I still like them very much. And I think they're great. And I decided I wanted to start working bigger. I decided to experiment more, and now here I am. That's the only thing that's changed from 4 years ago to now. I just kept doing it more and more and more and more, and that's it. So in my stop giving advice video, that's my advice that I'm giving. If there's anything that you want to do, just keep working towards it. You don't need the advice from anyone else. Just do the thing that you want to do. I don't know.